everyone, welcome to ALPS Talk. This is Dr. Zahia, research scientist from My Genome Institute. Today I'll be sharing a topic on how your genes can influence your heart health. Did you know that heart disease is the #1 killer in Malaysia, causing a total of 18,000 deaths in Malaysia back in 2018, which averages about 50 deaths per day? Heart disease, which can lead to heart attack, is a #1 killer of men in Malaysia in 2018 at a rate of 17.8% of the total population. Some of the alarming facts of heart disease is that it's responsible for 1/4 of hospital deaths, attacking most people at an average age of 58 years old. Nearly half of heart attack patients have 3 or more risk factors, whereby 77% of them are being obese. Most of us are aware that health problems can result from lifestyle choices such as smoking, poor diet, excess alcohol, or lack of exercise. Other heart problems can result from medical conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure. But another potential influencer on your heart health could lie in your genes. Genes are made up of DNA, and it is what we inherit from our parents. When there is an error that occurs in our DNA, this is known as mutation. Inherited genetic mutation can affect the structure of the heart muscle, which can result in symptoms of heart failure. Gene mutation can also affect the heart's electrical system, which might lead to abnormal heart rhythms. If you have a cardiac genetic mutation, you may have an increased risk of sudden cardiac death, in which the heart rhythm unexpectedly becomes rapid and chaotic, and which is often fatal. We human beings have more than 20,000 genes, and each gene is present in 2 copies. 1 copy is inherited from your mother, and 1 copy is inherited from your father. Genetic mutation in 1 or more genes are passed from generation to generation. Heart disease is inherited through autosomal dominant inheritance, which means one of the parent carries a mutated gene. There is a 50% chance that each child will inherit this copy of the gene. In the example given, child 1 and child 4 both inherit the copy with the mutation from the parent 1 and are therefore at risk for developing the condition. One can detect heart disease inheritance simply through genetic testing. Genetic testing is the process of taking a sample of a person's DNA to look for changes that could cause inherited disease. Important changes in genes are called pathogenic mutation. The term pathogenic means disease-causing. Genetic testing can be used to clarify the diagnosis in a person who has or is suspected to have inherited heart disease. So how are these genes discovered? Researchers scrolled through the DNA of nearly 2,000 patients who had a heart attack or other forms of heart diseases before age 66. They also studied the genes of 2,900 of the same age who had no history of heart trouble. The people with heart disease were more likely than those with healthy hearts to have certain gene variations. So, scientists combined all their data and came up with 6 genetic variations, as shown in the figure, that were linked to heart disease. So in order to prevent heart-related problems such as heart attack, it is important to understand your risks. These risks are divided into 3 categories. The first category is known as the major risk factor. These factors significantly increase the risk of heart disease. The first risk factor is age. Majority of people who die of coronary heart disease are 65 years or older. Secondly is gender. Men have a greater risk of heart attack than women do, and men have attacks earlier in their life. Third is hereditary. Children of parents with heart disease are more likely to develop diseases themselves. You can't control your family history, so it's even more important to treat and control any other modifiable risk factors that you have. So modifiable risk factors is the second type of risk factor which can be modified, treated or controlled through medication or lifestyle changes, such as smoking or even diabetes. Now, diabetes can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. The risks are even greater if blood sugar is not well controlled. At least 68% of people with diabetes over 65 years old of age die of some of heart disease. Other examples are blood cholesterol and blood pressure. Now, the third risk factor is the contributing risk factors. These have increased risk of heart diseases, but their significance haven't yet been determined. People under stress may tend to overeat, start smoking, practice a poor diet and nutrition. Other than that, way too much alcohol can also raise blood pressure and increase your risk of stroke, heart disease, cancer, and other diseases. So here in My Genome Institute, we are able to check your genes related to heart disease risk through whole genome sequencing. Whole genome sequencing is carried out through liquid biopsy, which is a simple blood draw in order to extract your genetic information. Examples of risks discovered include heart attack risk, risk of deadly blood clots, likely age of onset of heart disease due to coronary artery disease, medications related to heart health, and optimum dosing and risk of adverse reactions. So before I end, let us together practice a healthier lifestyle, don't smoke, maintain a healthy body weight, and get plenty of regular exercise. Together, let's keep our heart beating strong throughout life. This is Dr. Zahia signing off from ALPS Talk.